create a series of circles in Grasshopper. I'll go back here on this graph. So go over the data structure. We are going to create a series of circles, and then we place them on different location. And after we have that, then we are going to work with the different data structure on them, and then see what are the effects of each of these work. So let's go back to Grasshopper itself, and then let's create a circle. I'm gonna create a circle, and circle based on the point. We want to have the point as well. So circle, normal, and the point itself. I need 3 of them. So I'm just going to copy and paste it. Just putting it here. Now what I would do is that I'm going to use the method that we use today in order to move them. So for first one, I'm going to double click here, 0, 0, 0. That's good. That's going to be the first point here. That's the center for the first one. For the second one, I'm going to use 0, 0, and this time I'm going to use 7, 0, 0, 7, and then the last one will be 0, 0, and then 14. Obviously, we can parameterize everything, but it's just for this example is okay to do that. Now, we're looking for the radius. I'm going to put the radius for the first one for 12. For the second one, I'm going to put it at 6. And then for the last one, I'm going to put it at 3. So it's kind of reduce this radius as it goes up. So let me zoom in here. Everybody has this, like 3 circle, very simple, right? Now, let's try to divide the data. So I'm going to divide this circle together. So let's put the divide curve, and here I'm going to connect the first circle. I'm going to connect it here to the the input. Now, if I hold Shift, you remember I can add more connector to the input. So holding Shift, it's giving me the option for connecting more like an input to the curve here. Now, I'm going to create a polyline. So I'm going to create a polyline, and connecting that to the input for that polyline. Let's look at what we have so far. So if you look at it, what you see is that I divide these curves, right? But because when I divide them, I kind of create this patterns of each of them be on one branch. So if I go back to my parameters and then using the parameters viewer, the param viewer, what I create here is that it's just a series of 3 branches, which comes from this circle, right? There are 3 circles that I have, and it's divided by 10. So each branch is divided by 10 at this point. Now, what if I want to basically go the other way around? If I want to connect them in the different direction, what are my options in that regards? So first, let's do one task here. I'm going to go and then I'm going to flip what it's called flip the matrix, and I'm going to connect the output here. So you see that there is the output, and I'm going to copy and paste these parameters because I want to show you what flip the matrix does. Now, if you look at my parameters, now what I had before was the data with 3 branches, and each of them has 10 points on it. Now it has 10 branches with 3 data points on each of them. Now let's connect that to the polyline instead. This time, the result I get will be the points that is going up. So each point is connected to the next point on the surface. Now, this becomes very helpful if we understand how the data structure works. If we don't see the relationship between them, it's going to create a lot of headache for us when we are creating different forms. Now, we talk about that. Now let's try to do another things. Let's try to flatten the whole data. So flatten, we we learn how to do it when we right click here, right? We just go here and then flatten the data. But you can also do this with bringing the flatten components. So it's a flatten tree. So flatten tree, basically, you already know that. Just get the data, and if I have another parameters viewer here, let's get the data, and it just delete all the branches. Now I have 30 points, which is all in one branch of data. So if I connect that to the polyline, what you see is that it's a combination of what we have last time. So it draw all the lines, but it's get to the endpoint, and it's connected to the first of the next, and it goes all the way to the other one, and it goes to the other one. So that's how the flatten works. Now, the other things that I want you to pay attention when you look at this data, you see that I have 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. And this is like a kind of a structuring data depending on how the data form at the beginning. And sometimes we really don't need to have like a big sets for all these positioning of these items. So the other tools that become very helpful is what it called simplify. So I'm going to use a simplify tree, and this time I'm going to connect that tree here. So if I use the parameter viewer, what you see is that nothing in terms of the data structure change. The only thing that changed is that the indexes here, which was 0, 7, now we have, like say for example, I mean this is the flip matrix, but I think that this is better. So 0, 0 changes to 0, 0, 1 changes to 1. And it's become very helpful, especially when you are manipulating a lot of things on your database and you're trying to work with the data. Now, we got this, right? That was easy to work with. Now, the last thing that is becoming very helpful when we are dealing with the data is that sometimes we kind of want to make sure everything is flattened, right? But after a while, we want to work with the individual data points, right? So the other tools that has become very helpful, and you already use it, but it's a different like a component, it's called graft. So we use what it's called graft tree. Click here, and if I connect that here, the flattened data to the grafted data, what you see is that now I have 30 data, each of them on one like a branch. Now let's try to connect that to the polyline, see what you get. I got the error, right? Why? Because there is no points, 2 points that it's connect. It's just 1 point, 1 point, 1 point in each of those branches. So that's another thing to just when you are planning for data structure, you want to pay attention to how you are dealing with different data sets. Okay, now let me just go back, and then I'm just going to delete this part and connecting this here.